I got into a completely losing position in the middle game, and I even faced brilliant move from my opponent, and I still won the game somehow. And let me show you how I did that. First, I played the e4, and now my opponent played e5. Knight f3, and now we have the Philidor's defense. Very, very solid opening, and I know this is a very common idea whenever people play the Philidor opening, so I just play the move h3. And in this position, black has the option to play f6. It's maybe not the greatest move, but it's a very solid pawn structure if they wanted to. Now we have bishop e7. Now bishop c4 here. And now after knight knight f6, it's targeting my e4 pawn. And I need to make sure that this pawn is defended. I can do it like this, defend with the knight, or I can play pawn d3, or I can play queen e2. So these are my three options. So in this game, I opted to play d3. Just very solid. Just like my opponent, who's created this solid pawn structure, I decided to do the same thing. And my position almost looks very symmetrical to a black, except my bishop's out and their bishop is passive here. Now, they castle, and I also have to castle too, because king safety is very important. Now we have to move c5. c5, clamping down on the dark square here, and it is a very solid structure. I can't emphasize that enough. So in order for me to break open the structure, I have to play the move c3 here. And c3, I'm intending to play d4 here. But if I do play the move d4, this e4 pawn will be hanging, so I should play the move rook e1 before that. So that's one of my plans. Now, bishop e6. I have this amazing bishop that's targeting the f7 square here, and the bishop just comes in to just neutralize that whole diagonal. Of course, I can retreat. One common idea here is your bishop here is being attacked, and if the black trades the bishops here, then I'm going to end up with a messed up pawn structure, and this pawn will be undefended. So for example, I play a random move. This pawn will be undefended here, and I don't want that. So one thing that you can do is you can always go back, and the idea is that if black decides to trade the bishop, then you just have this open rook, or open file for the rook, and now you can make some very good rook lifts in the future. But here I played another idea here, which is the move knight bd2. So the idea here is that if black takes, then I have this move knight. I'll recapture back for the knight, and if they ever play the move cd5, it's gonna weaken the c pawn and the e pawn, and then I can just capture this pawn. So it makes it incredibly more difficult for my opponent to play the move e5, d5, because the e5 pawn will be hanging. Now, so that's the idea behind the knight bd2. And now then, black decides to play the move queen d7. And queen d7, what it does is just, maybe they're going to put the knight on f4 and then try to sacrifice in the future. So that's, I think, what the idea is. And now I just try to go for this bishop here. And black, here's the first inaccuracy of the game, which is b5. b5 is an inaccuracy because you just open up this queen side just for it's a very, very aggressive pawn push. Now, I didn't take advantage of it. Apparently, the best move here is just to take the bishop with the knight and say, I have the bishop pair, and they just lost the bishop. So that's the best move. Instead, I just retreated the bishop. The reason being is because, like I said before, I don't mind the trade here. Then I'll get to open a file here. And now black even plays move a5, and this is a miss. This is a miss because after I take the bishop, and they take with the f pawn. Of course, you can't take with the queen. Then now I play the move a4, and now after a4 and b4, what happens is their structure on the queen side is just way too overextended. So then After the move a5, I play the move f4, which is a mistake. Or it's a miss. Now the bishop's able to take, and after I capture the b pawn, now we have to move knight e8. So knight e8, it just opens up the dark square bishop to attack my knight. And here in this game, I was feeling very, very aggressive. So I played the move knight f. So I played the move knight df3. So I know my knight is trapped after the move h6 here, but that's fine. Because I want to sacrifice my knight, and then I want to capture the e pawn and take another pawn. I know there's a lot of variations between, but it worked in my favor. This is exactly the position I was looking for, where I'm going to get a massive pawn in the center, and I know black is up a piece here. They're up, right now they're just up 1 point of material. And according to Stockfish, they're completely winning, but I'm not playing against Stockfish, luckily. So now I play the move rook e1. Rook e1, I want to push e5 in the future. And now we have to move bishop g3. Bishop g3, targeting my rook. I don't want to go back to f1, because it just feels like it kind of feels like you just made a mistake if you just have to go to the square you moved back to. So I played the move rook e2. Now we have to move b4. And now I play the move bishop e3. Bishop e3, just targeting this pawn. And luckily, my opponent didn't defend it. And now I would love to push these pawns and then try to maybe take this bishop after playing the move rook e3. And now, and black just made that a little bit more difficult because now they've got control. Now, if I ever push d4 here, the knight and the rook is targeting this pawn while my rook is only defending it, so I can't do that. So here, I decide to do an X-ray defense. If I decide to play the move d4, now this pawn will be protected by my queen and my rook there. So now black decides to play the move knight h5. And now I play the move d4. d4 in an accuracy, but at least this pawn is guarded, like I said, by my queen and rook. And now we have to move knight f4. In the game, I was thinking like I'm completely lost here, just because maybe they have. You can see that black has a lot of pieces on my king side, and I feel like they can sacrifice soon. So I just play the move rook e3 here. There's not much to do, and this is the moment when black gave me the opportunity to come back in the game. So I took the knight, of course, because trading the rook for 2 knights is, of course, better for me. And now I have 2 less knights to worry about, because knights are one of the most trickiest pieces in the game. And so I took the pawn here, and you might be wondering, like, why didn't I try to defend my knight here? Because it's obvious they've got the rook here, they got this rook here, and they got this queen attacking this knight, and there's a sacrifice coming for sure. But even the engine agrees with me that taking the b pawn, even if they sacrifice one of the rooks, I can't do much, to be honest. So I just have to take the b pawn. Now I face their brilliant move, which is sacrificing the rook. And here I just push d5. And the idea behind that is that once they take, now I have to move rook d1. I just want to get my rook into the game because I need to protect my king side somehow, so I want to get the rook. But first, I have to capture the rook, or else I'm just completely losing. So after this, the black queen took the pawn, and now I play the move queen g2, which is kind of a surprise because what they suggest instead is just take this pawn. So after I take this pawn, who's gonna play that move? It looks like I'm gonna get absolutely destroyed here because there's almost no pieces in front of my king there. But so after queen f3 and queen g2, now they took the b pawn, the b3 pawn, and here I just took I took the a5 pawn because I don't know what to do, frankly, and that's the only move that I saw. And after the move rook to d7, I know maybe they want to get the rook in or double up here, and it just looks like completely just I'm getting destroyed here. It feels like. But according to Stockfish, the game is completely equal. Even though my queen, it looks like there's going to be a lot of tactics. So now I play the move a6, and this is the critical move because now I'm threatening the queen, and my king side looks like it's well defended, and black can't do much. And so what black decides to do is trade the rook, and after the check, there's only one move I can play, which is to defend with the queen, and then they play the move bishop h2 check, and of course I have to play the move king g2. There's no other move to play, and now we have to move queen to c2 check, and this targets my. So in the game, I was thinking that this targets my bishop with the check, but also it targets my pawn here. So I could play the move queen to f2. Then I was thinking maybe they just have this check, and it just got very complicated after that. And so I just decided to defend with the bishop. And after they take the b pawn out, my idea was to play the move a7. And how are they going to stop the pawn? I would just play yeah, it's like almost impossible to defend that pawn. So that's my idea behind this move, bishop f2, and then now black plays the move bishop to b8. So they really don't want me to play like the move a7 there. And now I play the move queen b5. So now my bishop, now that my bishop is on f2, I feel like my kicking is always safe, and I could just try to move here. And now black gives me a series of check. So here they play the move queen to g6 check. I'm getting it looks like I don't know why this is a blunder, and I just first move the king here, and then they give me another check, and then I move the king to e2, and then they give me another check, and the what I'm doing here with all these king moves, I'm trying to get to this corner, and then like somehow do a cocoon defense there. And that's my whole plan. And I know that my bishop is hanging, so here I have to defend my bishop. And now after this check, you can see I literally just moved like I'm trying to move to this corner here. And after this move, queen to f5, you can see I can't go to the b1 square. And then after b3, king b3, I can't even move to this diagonal, so I can't even move to a1 here. So either way, I'm gonna get checked on these two diagonals. But then here I have to move queen to c4, and then I force this queen trade, and then I win.